Hello everyone and welcome to the start of Season 5 of our F124 Driver Career Mode. Yes, we're back once again here in Bahrain, the start of an all-new campaign, an all-new journey with an all-new team. If you missed out on the video that went live yesterday with pre-season testing, I would highly recommend going back and check it out. We went through all of the driver transfer news and everything as we prepare ourselves for our next campaign. And it was quite an interesting one. Of course, we've got a custom calendar for this season. We've got an all-new race format as well, featuring just one-shot qualifying session for every single driver that is hopefully going to spice up the grid. Here we go, a quick look then. Obviously, we have moved to Mercedes, replacing Oscar Piastri, joining Lewis Hamilton at the Brackley-based squad. Oscar Piastri has gone to Ferrari. Charles Leclerc, he's taken a sabbatical this season, with Enzo Fittipaldi taking his seat as well there. Ayumu Iwasa has gone to Haas, replacing the retiring Hulkenberg as well. So there were a few moves. It wasn't too wild a winter break. I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping if we went to Merc that Hamilton would kind of go the other way to Ferrari as well there. But yeah, it is going to be very, very interesting to see as to how we get on this season. Taking a look at the performance chart, we're not looking too great as we head into the new campaign. We're currently only provisional 6th best on the grid right now as we head into the new season as well. But of course, we're going to be bringing the #1 car to the Mercedes team. Obviously, fun fact, Mercedes have never had the #1 on their cars, obviously, since they returned to Formula 1 as well. I think maybe except 2010. Maybe they were allowed 1 and 2 there, obviously with Brawn winning the title in 2009. But of course, as always, if you aren't already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed. We're trying to hit 140k by the end of the year as well. Obviously, we haven't got long this season. I'm hoping to get wrapped up before the end of the year as well. But yeah, let's head out then into qualifying.
Under the bright lights of Bahrain, it is time for qualifying. Grid position up in the air. Who is going to seize the moment?
Well, I'll be honest, as we head into the new campaign, I'm a little bit nervous in this Mercedes car. It is going to be a long-term project, and I can already tell that based on just how free practice went. If I've learned anything, this car is very, very good in a straight line, and kind of seems a bit lackluster just about everywhere else at the moment. But yeah, with drivers in new seats and everything else, of course, our main goal early on is to try and beat, obviously, our new teammate in Lewis Hamilton. But Bahrain is going to be interesting to kind of see what the pecking order is looking like. Are we going to see any surprises in terms of performance as well as the weekend goes on? Of course, how quickly can different drivers gel at their new organisations as well there. It's also quite nice. I kind of hadn't really thought about it, but obviously that patch to the Ferrari engine that code is refused to remove again because it sounds awful. I don't have to deal with that anymore, so I guess we won the world title with Ferrari at the right time there as we try and make our way up in towards Sector 3. So far, just see we're losing a little bit of time to George Russell as the lap unfolds there. 6/10 down by the time we get to the end of Sector 2, but hopefully we can try and at the very least get ourselves up inside the top 10 come the end of qualifying. One more corner to go of this all-new one-shot qualifying format. Done pretty well as the lap has gone on. Where are we going to end up, though? We've just not got the battery in the end. It is P12. Well, Lewis Hamilton is one of the greatest Formula 1 drivers of all time, and let's not forget as well, he's pretty good. Especially he thrives in the unknown there. So for our teammate to go 3/10 clear of us, I'm not going to worry about too much early on, as long as it doesn't become a regular occurrence there. Russell, though, will take pole position in his McLaren ahead of Max Verstappen and Lando. Norris, Aston Martin once again seem to be right there in the fight as well. Hamilton in P5, we are down in P12, slower than Enzo Fittipaldi on his debut for Ferrari. And of course, as always, the Kick Saubers at the rear of the field.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal. And it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. Formula One returns to the desert today and this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities, and it could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakhir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Tsunoda, Ocon, Gasly, Fittipaldi, Firestarter, Sainz, Perez, Iwasa, Albon, Ricciardo, Behrman, Vesti and Zhou Guanyu. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the start of an all-new journey. And I must admit, it was a bit odd not seeing Charles Leclerc on that grid rundown. But in terms of strategy today, then the team want to go really, really aggressive. Softs over to the hards later on. I'll be honest, I'm not really convinced that's going to be the way to go. I'm going to try and take the mediums just a little bit further into the race there. Hopefully just have a bit more of a balance over the two sets there. But that being said, obviously at Bahrain, it's often close between a 1 and a 2 stop for the AI inside F124. A safety car or a red flag can really change everything as well here. But let's get on with it then. For the first time ever as a Mercedes driver, we're waiting for 5 red lights here on the grid. And it is not a long hold at all there. Everybody wants the new season to get underway, and I've been caught a little bit napping as we try and make our way down in towards turn 1. Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz there, having a look around our outside. I'm going to try and just play it safe through that first corner, but clearly Ayumu Iwasa on our inside there through turn 1 wants to give me no room whatsoever there. We had to cut over the corner, but yeah, we certainly didn't gain an advantage from that one. It's a frantic start by everybody in front there, and we've already lost 4 places. It's almost into the back of the Haasman up at the top of the hill. Luckily, we're able just to like feed our way through there as Fittipaldi, Ocon and Perez trying to navigate P11. Daniel Ricciardo just caught a little bit napping on the exit of the corner, and both myself and Fittipaldi there opting for the mediums for the start of this one, so both dropping down the order ever so slightly. I think it will be a strategy though that will kind of play into our hand very, very early on in this Grand Prix. Just the soft tyres do not last that well around here. But Verstappen looks like he's already made a move then. Neither McLaren are hanging on to their grid position there, as I think Alonso has also got up into the podium places. Obviously the Dutchman, it was a really, really quiet campaign for him last season. Ferrari just were able to keep it at arm's length there, and we ended up being under more pressure from various other teams as the season went on. But Red Bull and Max Verstappen, they can always bounce back. They always go well here in Bahrain as well. Again, Verstappen maybe the best driver currently in Formula 1. They're kind of thriving in the unknown. But as we try and attack Fittipaldi to the outside of the young Brazilian, it's nice to have a Brazilian back on the grid once more as well in Formula 1. And the Brazilian in a Ferrari joining the likes of Barrichello and Felipe Massa, except that he's down to P14. We can already see Sergio Perez trying to make up for his bad qualifying effort, trying to have a look to the inside of Yuki Tsunoda. We're going to try and go to the outside of the other Alpine through turn 1, and Esteban Ocon just gets a little bit caught over the curbing there, and up then into P12 once more. It's a robust move on the Frenchman, but yeah, we've got to get our elbows out early on. It's reigning world champion, but yeah, that's certainly that kind of puts a marker on the back of us, rather than kind of makes people jump out of the way. But I don't want to try and push too aggressively early on. Bahrain again is one of those races where just kind of leaving doors open for yourself in terms of strategy later on in the race can really make the difference. As now here we go, trying to look past Yuki Tsunoda. Had a look to the inside. Clearly Yuki decided he wanted that inside line. Well, we've done it to one Alpine around the outside of turn 1. I'm more than happy to do it to the other there. And there we go. We've finally now moved ahead of where I started in this Grand Prix. A little bit of a lock up there. I think that was Pierre Gasly at the front of this train. And And that might allow Carlos Sainz a bit of an opportunity now to look for a move. I've got no idea how Checo's still got that Red Bull seat. Admittedly, last season was probably his strongest in quite a few years there, but down the inside we're going to go. Oh, Checo didn't quite spot me on the inside there at that first turn, as Sainz and Gasly on wheel-to-wheel on the exit as well there. But up then into the points for the first time today. But definitely, I mean, you just see how much more speed we can carry into the corner over Carlos Sainz. Gasly, though, in that Haas, I mean, the Haas car's very, very good, but it does tend to shred its tyres inside this series. Down the inside. Oh, that was an aggressive manoeuvre, but we kept it clean. Gasly dived out of the way.
Good job.
But as we're moving forward early on in this race, Lewis Hamilton seems completely stuck and unable to make progress around, I think it's also Piastri and Lance Stroll there. So Piastri doing a pretty good job at his new seat.
And you're going to be on hards next time.
It's kind of just moved around between a lot of the big teams early on inside this game. We'll see him at Red Bull, I would have thought, pretty soon. So a little bit of contact there with Sainz, and I think he's lost his front wing in the process there. That was very, very small amount of contact for the Spaniard to pick up the damage there, but that's exactly what's happened. We might see him in for a slightly early pit stop, but through we'll go.
Be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
I mean, we got no warning for contact, so I think the FIA have put that down as a racing incident. Oh, there we go, Hamilton. Hamilton first into the pit lane then. So I don't know whether our teammate's trying to go for the undercut.
Yeah, really good job on hitting that target, mate. Nice work. Still a long way to go, though.
So yeah, that's quite a surprise then. Mercedes, the first ones to pull the trigger. Looks like a few other cars are also going to dive into the pits as well from further down the order. But Hamilton, the first to blink. Will he now be able to get the jump away from Piastri and Stroll by the time they pit? There we go, a handful more cars into the pit lane. Oscar Piastri also on the mediums then. So what is Verstappen on? Verstappen's on soft, so that Red Bull not only seems fast, but also very, very gentle on its tyres. And I guess, yeah, with Lewis pitting early as well, it allows us to obviously open up our strategy a little bit more. I'm going to try and take the tyres just a little bit further. They're feeling pretty good at the moment. And there we go, Verstappen and Oscar Piastri in. So from 12th on the grid, we are going to take the lead of this race. Admittedly, it's only going to be for a couple of laps at most. Pace is, though, still looking really, really good right now.
Is running a bit low. Look into changing your ERS mode in the MFD for a more conservative burn rate. Or you might want to try some lifting or gentle braking to recharge.
Now, I'm really not going to worry about that too much at the moment. As Alonso, then weirdly, he's opting for a two-stop strategy in this Grand Prix. He's got quite the jump on Verstappen behind him. So Alonso now into the net lead of the Grand Prix. But a red flag now would be absolutely fantastic. Well, I'm really not going to try and roll the dice too much in terms of strategy today. I just want to open up a little bit of extra life in the tyre towards the end of the race there. And I mean, I'm going to be interested to see when Alonso is going to peel back into the pit lane. But yeah, trying to wait for a yellow flag or a virtual safety car or anything here. Just not really any logic in that. We may as well just try and get a decent first race down. So there we go. First ever Mercedes pit stop then inside this series. Let's hope it's a clean one. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. 4.6. That was terrible. Must have had issues with one of the rear tyres there that I just failed to notice. As Hamilton is going to fly back past me, so is Oscar Piastri. I think we're going to come out around Sergio Perez.
We need to try and put that behind us, and let's finish the race as strong as possible.
Oh, just nice and easy on the throttle on the way out there. And annoyingly, yeah, that pit stop drama has brought us out behind Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz. So that's really, really annoying at this stage of the afternoon. Hopefully, we're going to try and get back past the pair of them pretty quickly. Sainz has done a pretty good job to obviously get that wing change and still come out battling for the top 10. But as Gasly will sail around his outside up through the top of the hill, we're going to try and join the Frenchman in completing a move there as well. Carlos, he wanted to try and commit to a defensive line there. He kind of pinched us both to the apex. It was aggressive by me. Well, I will be intrigued to see just how well everybody else's hard tyres hang on towards the end of this race, because it seems like we're just getting quicker and quicker each and every lap. Of course, we should hopefully get a freebie from Fernando Alonso towards the end, but I assume he's absolutely going to come flying back past us in the dying stages of this race. But now tucked up behind Pierre Gasly once more. Hopefully, whoa, hello. Pierre wants to move around.
Really good. You hit that target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean.
I mean, that is a huge amount of speed down in towards someone there. Didn't quite see. I think we're up over 220 miles an hour. Yeah, we finally moved back past the Haas then into P9. We should at the very least score a few points today, but I'm still looking at Lewis up the road thinking maybe we can get to him. Oh, Perez, just a little bit of a lock up there as we make our way through the tricky turn 9, turn 10 complex, and that might leave the Mexican vulnerable as we get back round towards the end of the lap. He's definitely struggling at the moment. Meanwhile, his teammate Max Verstappen, well, he certainly hasn't dominated the last couple of years, but the Dutchman seems to be well and truly back to kickstart this campaign here in Bahrain. But as we try and put the power down through the final couple of corners, his teammate Sergio Perez, he could be in for another pretty depressing year with a Red Bull there as Max Verstappen's number 2. Oh, easy does it. Checo there tries to slam the car on the apex of the corner, but shortly now we're going to have the speed on him to make our way back down in towards turn 1. Well over 200 miles an hour there, and we are comfortably through before you can get to the corner. And we've got yellows out. I think Hamilton's gone for a spin. Lewis Hamilton going for a spin, and that's a red flag. Well, that is a very, very disappointing moment for our teammate Lewis Hamilton there, who just tipped the car round through turn 1. I mean, for us, it means we're now ahead of him, so I guess I'd take it if we can beat him by the end of this one.
Nice advantage here. Let's have a think about how we handle the rest of this race.
But suddenly, this tips everything on its head late on in the day in Bahrain. Verstappen, his advantage at the front, gone. McLaren are going to be right there to try and attack him towards the end of this. 7 laps left of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's do this.
Again.
Waiting on the grid then for those 5 red lights once more. And it's going to be lights out and away we go. Not for Lando Norris though. Lando Norris, that engine has gone immediately as Perez will say thank you very much. So will Alonso down in towards the first corner. So chaos again as I'm going to get put in an Aston Martin sandwich. Lance Stroll had no idea his teammate was down the inside of that first corner. I've picked up front wing damage as well then in everything that's gone on. So suddenly this race has been absolutely turned into pandemonium here. Norris, our first retirement of the afternoon. Hamilton now down in P8 there, but how bad is his front wing damage? Hamilton's got a 10-second time penalty. No idea what our teammate has done to earn that one there, but Perez up into P4. Now it's up to George Russell.
Okay to use your overtake button.
They're trying to attack Max Verstappen at the front of the race here and try to get that win for the orange team there, but Verstappen, he looks like he's absolutely controlled this one again off of the restart there. The front wing damage doesn't feel too bad, but it's certainly not ideal. Here goes George Russell again then. I mean, we're locked into our own battle. I'm too interested in what's going on at the front there as the McLaren man to the inside of Verstappen towards someone there. The Dutchman not able to hang on through the exit of the corner, so Verstappen will have to try and utilise the DRS as they make their way back up in towards turn 4 once again. Will he be able to get alongside Russell? No, he can. And he's under even more pressure there. Big lock-up from the Dutchman, I believe that was. As Oscar Piastri, of course, a former McLaren man, now trying to hound the Dutchman as well. Oh, Verstappen again then trying to hound George Russell. I mean, it is anybody's game inside that top 4 there, as you just see again. They both arc to the inside line, ready for turn 1. Oscar Piastri just waiting in the wings. He doesn't want to try and overcommit here. He would love a podium in his first race for Ferrari. So we've got yellows out again down at turn 1. I think that might be an Alpine breaking down then late on in this one. No, it's a Williams.
Okay, they're out of this race.
And well, 2 of kind of the trio of drivers that came into Formula 1 as rookies back in 2019 now out of this Grand Prix. The F2 champion from that year, though, George Russell, he is still fighting at the front of the order here as, I mean, we are hounding Lance Stroll. I refuse, after that kind of antics in towards turn 1, I refuse to lose to Lance Stroll here. 2 laps left then of this Grand Prix, and now we're going to try and pull the trigger, try and make the move work. Oh, on Stroll, and of course, every single other AI today has defended that in towards turn 1. I assumed Lance Stroll would do the same, and I kind of just look a little bit like a maniac there down at the first corner, but we do get around his outside. We do move up then into P5. Luckily, this front wing damage isn't too bad, but we're going to need something to happen. We're going to need more wheel-to-wheel racing between our top 4 if I want to get a look in. One more lap to go then. Max Verstappen, George Russell, who is going to walk away with a victory in Bahrain. Russell again tucked up in the wheel tracks of the Dutchman. Will he try and pull out? Yes, he will. Down towards turn 1. Verstappen will react. As here comes Lance Stroll back down my inside of that first corner. We'll give him the braking point there. So that'll actually give us the DRS on the exit of the turn. And now we will hang on to this position for now there. But Russell's done it. Russell has gone back past Verstappen up the top of the hill. So now the Dutchman will be looking for anywhere to try and go for a move on this last lap. And I mean, Verstappen absolutely dominated the first half of this Grand Prix. He looked completely in control until that red flag came out late on. It absolutely decimated his advantage at the front of the order. And as we round our way through this final lap, it is going to be a heartbreaking end for Verstappen here. I mean, a podium's still a podium, but I'm sure he's going to be gutted. A win that was all but assured. He's going to absolutely vaporize, but as we make our way in towards the final few corners though, this Mercedes, it's not the fastest car in the world, but I tell you what, it is a good groundwork to build on. It feels stable, it feels confidence inspiring, and I'm looking forward to the next few rounds as well. The Hamilton, it has been a stinker of a race for our teammate, but through the final corner, it is going to be his former teammate, former Mercedes driver, George Russell, is going to win the season opener here in Bahrain. We come through for P5.
A superb drive from the talented George Russell, who takes the checkered flag.
It's always great to kick off the season with a race victory. You hit the ground running, and it's really good for your confidence as well moving forward. It's so important to set off on the right footing, and that's exactly what they've been able to achieve today.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight.
Well, there we are then. George Russell is a Grand Prix winner once again and kickstarts a new campaign with pole position, fastest lap, and race victory. Admittedly, it looks pretty simple on paper, but yeah, he really did have to fight right towards the end of that one to walk away with the victory. My driver of the day, though, I think is actually going to have to be Sergio Perez. It looked like he was going to finish about P9, whilst Verstappen was going to dominate this one, but nailed that safety, that red flag restart. And yeah, was able to hang on less than, over a second away from his teammate come the end of the afternoon. We come through for P5 ahead of both Aston Martins there. Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda all starting the year with points finishes as well. Unfortunate for Lewis Hamilton, still not quite sure why he got that 10-second penalty. But yeah, unfortunately for him, that was game over. In terms then obviously of your Drivers' Championship, of course exactly the same as your race results. Constructors-wise though, Red Bull lead McLaren there 30-26. Ferrari ahead of Aston Martin and ourselves there with VCarb, Haas and Alpine all with points on the board. Only Williams and Kick Sauber haven't scored after this opening race. Wouldn't surprise me if that was the case for a lot of the season there. But thank you all so much for watching. George Russell, I'm sure, is going to spend tonight celebrating, but he hasn't got long though. We will be back later on this week, ready in Jeddah for round 2 of the campaign. And based on that race, you guys are not going to want to miss it.